When I first started my agency, it took me 6 months to get my first clients, which resulted in a lot of doubt and disappointment as I saw others succeeding what seemed to be so quickly. The truth is that if you are selling a service online in 2025, it's becoming harder than ever to get clients, mainly because we're in a trust crisis right now. So this video is a recording of a private live masterclass that I hosted last Sunday that covers what I believe to be the easiest way to sign clients in 2025, which is YouTube organic. I'm so excited to share it with you because I know it's going to change so many lives. All I ask for in return is that you watch or listen as much as you can and take notes if possible. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to jump into it, guys. Sweet. So hopefully everyone can see this. Today's training is going to be how you can get hundreds of high quality clients asking to literally work with you by posting a few times a week on YouTube. It sounds too good to be true, but I promise you, if you watch this training, you get a notepad out. If you have a notepad, piece of paper by your side, amazing. You can use a Google Doc if you don't, but I highly suggest you take notes on this because it's something that's changed my life and I know it can change yours with enough time, and obviously I'm going to help reduce that learning curve. So literally a few times a week, guys, it's going to be crazy. So in this training, I'm going to cover why YouTube is worth your time, how you can make killer content even if you haven't seen crazy success yet. Maybe you've tried posting on TikTok, Instagram, maybe you've tried doing outreach. I assume a lot of you have. And I think it's getting harder and harder every single day due to competition. I'm going to explain how you can get new content ideas very easily, my exact ideation process for it. And it's allowed me to get hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of subscribers, thousands of appointments, which you can see right here. And I just want you to imagine what this could do for you. If you were to have 1.4K appointments on your calendar in a year, it'd be pretty hard not to make 7 figures unless you're a dummy. So if you pay attention and you do what I tell you for the next 6 months, it will change your life and those around you. So yeah, you can see 10K payments. This is in pounds, but obviously that's equivalent to $10,000. Freedom, I'm sure you guys want financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom. That's why I personally started this whole online agency model, then transitioned into other businesses, SaaS. But yeah, I've been you once, so I know what you want, if you know what I mean. But you may be thinking, will this actually work for you? I've helped a ton of people, right, who had 0 subscribers, no experience, they weren't confident. We helped Nick go from 0 to 5K subs pretty damn quick. Literally took like a month or 2. He was a one-on-one client. Yeah, got his first 100 school members. He was running a typical agency for lawyers and I think local businesses. We pivoted to basically just giving them automations inside a community and having YouTube as his acquisition channel. And obviously I helped him get thousands and thousands of views. And if it can work for me, it can work for all the clients that I've worked with. It can 1000% work for you guys. So my goal is today is to help you get a bunch of appointments because realistically, that is probably what you're struggling with right now. So I'm going to help you get a bunch of appointments for your business so you can never struggle with leads and you can just make a bunch of money, right? That is the goal with freedom, obviously. So yeah, if I can help you make a bunch of money, can you, or can I get you to consider spending just a little bit of that and helping me out in the future so I continue helping you grow? Now, only if I make you a bunch of money, are you cool with that? Put a yes in the chat. But obviously I did the country thing. I'm trying to get you guys active. I can see that Jim said yes, Eddie yes, Kay yes. It's good to see that you guys aren't sleeping. I know it's midnight where I'm at in Dubai. Joshua's active. Amazing guys. So yeah, let me just ask you one more thing. Let me just move the share thing because it's in the way. But in our small amount of time that we have together, I want to give you the high leverage strategies that I've seen grow not only my business to 7 figures, but also other businesses to 7 figures. And I want to see you unlock your true potential, to see you make a change in the world, because it's not just about us and providing for ourselves, it's about providing for those around us. I'm exposing everything. So yeah, on this training, you'll have faith that you actually use it and expand your business. So if which I have spent time creating this training, I really want you to actually do what I'm advising you to, right? Otherwise it's just a waste of my time, it's a waste of your time. So please don't just watch this training and then go back to doom scrolling on TikTok, which I know you probably do every night. So as we go through the training, I want you to picture yourself doing what I'm telling you to do. As I mentioned at the start, if you can get a notepad out, amazing. And my question is just, will you commit to that, right? Just writing down what I tell you to do and picturing yourself actually doing the thing, right? Very, very important. Don't just nod your head and say it to yourself, right? This is serious stuff. It can change your life. Drop a quick yes in the chat if you can do that for me. That would mean a lot, because I've spent a lot of time doing this, and it doesn't really benefit me exposing what I'm doing to get clients. You've got to realize that everyone you watch on YouTube, right, the big players, they're telling you to do something different to what they're actually doing to make money. I'm telling you what I'm doing, so it doesn't help me by increasing the competition that I have to face, if you know what I mean. Because now, you're going to have the method, if I should say so. So let's jump right into it. So you do what you're told your entire life, right? You send cold DMs, you do outreach, you chase prospects day and night. And how has this treated you so far? If you're making over 50K, even 10K per month, pop it in the chat. I'm just curious to hear where you guys are at. Are you booking 100 meetings per month with what you're currently doing? The answer is probably no, right? Are you working with your dream clients? Probably not. So the truth is that you'll never make it work by following outdated advice, which is sadly what is happening in the market right now. A lot of people telling you to do things that worked in 2018, but not 2024 or almost 2025. You've got to ask yourself, where are you taking this advice from? And why do you think your favorite creators post onto YouTube? Like, how did you find out about me, right? You could pop that in the chat, but it's probably YouTube. You probably know in your head it's YouTube, or maybe on Instagram or ads, but mostly YouTube, right? So I practice what I preach. And you've got to ask yourself why so many creators are on YouTube. And I'm going to explain it and I'm going to expose it in 2 seconds. So let's say you don't take my advice and you actually manage to make it work. Let's say you manage to get the balls to do some cold calls and you book appointments and you get clients and you actually get a client or two through cold calling, or let's say LinkedIn or whatever. Let's see which metrics are going to perform better. And this will you'll be like, oh shit, in a second for why people post on YouTube. So what do you think has a better show up rate? People that book through outreach or YouTube? It's obviously YouTube, right? Let's do closing rate. Who do you think is more likely to close on an appointment? Someone that books through cold calling, Instagram DMs, or YouTube? Obviously it's YouTube, right? But let's look on the back end, right? So, excluding actually getting clients, who are the clients that are going to stay the longest, right? You look at companies like Starbucks, Apple, they have, Starbucks, it's proven that they make, I think, $15,000 every 20 years from each customer on average, right? So you're likely to spend $15,000 over the next 20 years ordering coffee, right? That's lifetime value, how long clients pay you for. Which one do you think has a higher LTV, outreach or YouTube? It's YouTube, right? Clients are going to want to make it work. They're not just going to hire you and then, leave you to it. They're going to be involved much more and help you get them better results. What do you think is going to have a better, lower refund rate? Clients that come through outreach or YouTube? It's YouTube. Lower churn, meaning clients that leave each month, right? You're going to have lower churn with YouTube. Every single metric on planet Earth and in business leads to YouTube, right? I don't think you understand this, guys. Every single business metric leads to, the advantage is with YouTube, which is why your favorite creators are posting on there, right? And I'm going to explain what to do if you don't have experience or you don't feel like you're qualified. I'm going to get to that, right? I'm going to explain what to actually post in terms of titles, all of that jazz, but just keep watching. So to put this into perspective, each subscriber that subscribes onto my channel, I make $20 from. Think about how insane that is. Making $20 just from a subscriber, right? And it's because we're all in the B2B space. You don't need to be Mr. Beast. We aren't in the entertainment industry. We're in the education industry, right? You can make a ton of money per 1,000 views, even per 100 views, right? So you can have 100 subscribers and make a bunch of money. I had around 1,000 subscribers and managed to book 52 sales appointments in 7 days. And that was, I think, last summer, and I was in Jamaica, right? 52 appointments in 7 days through one video with 1,000 subscribers. So you don't need a bunch of subscribers, right? But you can't chase your way to success. If you look at every single person who has succeeded in business, life, they most likely attract their clients, right? They attract their life. So you need to be doing the same. Now, when you post on YouTube, clients want to work with you, right? And they dream that you can help them make it work. I cannot tell you the difference between an appointment that comes through YouTube versus direct response marketing, which is typically cold outreach. It's literally a completely different ballgame. To put this into perspective, right? When I get appointments that come through YouTube, the prospects are quite literally, they start the meeting and they're already telling me why they love me, right? So the most important thing when it comes to sales is the prospect's perception of you before the meeting even starts. So how does a prospect, a lead, see you before the meeting starts? And if they come through DMs or cold calling or emails, which is top of funnel, down to a booked call, which is bottom of the funnel, there's no middle of the funnel, meaning they don't know who you are, they don't know what you do, they don't like you, they don't trust you, which is why your closing rate probably sucks and you have a longer sales cycle. Compared to YouTube, you can close clients on one call. And I've actually closed clients in the DMs, meaning I didn't have to get on a sales call. I could just send them the Stripe link in Instagram DMs and they would pay, right? Now, yeah, unlike outreach where it's 10 times harder to get clients and they ask for refunds more than through YouTube inbound, you can just make your life 100 times easier by paying attention to this training, right? So I'm just warming you up for why it's such a powerful mechanism and how it can change your life. But you probably have a few questions like, what do you do if you have no experience, right? What do you even post to YouTube? How often do you post to YouTube? And don't worry, because I've been in your position before. I know it's overwhelming. I know you probably don't want to put yourself out there. And what I would say, if you are scared of posting content, is that it's a complete win-win scenario. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say you post on YouTube and you don't get any views. Cool. No one sees your content. Your friends don't see it. Your family don't see it. Your dog doesn't see it. But let's say you do post on YouTube and you do get views. You'll make a bunch of money. So it doesn't matter if your friends see it because you'll be chilling and you'll have what you want in life. So it's a complete win-win. That's the way I see it. And it also comes down to the price you're willing to pay to live your dream life, right? If your current situation isn't good enough and you're not happy with it, which, you should always be striving for more, then if it's more comfortable to stay in your current situation than to post on YouTube, then you'll stay in your current situation. But you need to get angry at your current reality and want to live a better life, not just for yourself, but for your family and for those around you. So I'm going to be answering all of those questions that I just put in terms of how often should you post, what should you post in the next 5 minutes. So let me quickly get to this. Make sure to keep watching because I'm going to explain the forbidden formula that I have for just getting a bunch of views on YouTube and appointments. So let's start with the first question, which is a question I get a lot in my DMs and on social media. So what should you do when you have no experience? And, my response would be, what do you do when you haven't delivered for a client before, right? You simply just make less of a promise. You don't have to be an expert or a rocket scientist to understand this, right? You don't have the privilege when you're starting to make titles like how I made $67,000 in 30 days at 20, right? You obviously can't make that big of a promise, right? Nor have you actually done that, so you shouldn't make titles and videos on things you haven't done. But what this means is that you just need to share what you've done. And if you haven't done much, you need to do more like shit, basically, right? Because you've got to understand that even if you make a video on something that hasn't worked out, people are still going to pay attention to it. So let's say you send 1,000 cold DMs or 10,000 cold DMs, and you make a video on YouTube saying, I sent 10,000 cold DMs, here's what happened. Even if you didn't get appointments, even if it failed, people would still watch that video because they would want to learn what not to do from what you did, right? Or let's say you read 100 books. You could make that as a video. I wouldn't say it would get a bunch of views because it's not the most attractive title, but you get the point, right? It's not just about success, right? But you need to do more stuff. So you could make your titles like this. If you don't have experience, you haven't made money before, because it's the same thing. People have this idea that YouTube, you need to be an expert, but it's like, ideally, yes, be an expert, but it's the same when delivering a service, right? Like, it's the exact same thing. What do you do when you haven't delivered something before? You just make less of a promise. Maybe you don't be as out there in terms of your marketing, but you can make videos like this. Save hundreds of hours, that's to say hours, every month with this AI content assistant, right? That would be a reasonable title to make. Everyone can do, or let's say, most of you are in the AI automation agency space, so that's why I put this here. But let's say you're a Facebook ads agency, you could just make something like, I don't know, how to set up your ads manager in 10 minutes, right? Perfect. It's not as big of a promise, but it's still going to be valuable to a lot of people. And that's the exact video I made literally a day ago, and it got 1.2 thousand views. So it works, right? And yeah, for those wondering, 1.2 thousand views isn't crazy. If you're looking at TikTok or Instagram Reels, it's not like viral, but you've got to understand that these aren't brain dead business owners behind the 1.2 thousand views. These are high quality business owners, which is what I was saying earlier about each subscriber makes me $20, right? This can make you a ton of money, right? Because imagine trying to do 1.2 thousand high quality outreach messages. That is the equivalent of what this video is, right? Or 1.2 thousand cold calls, right? It's the equivalent in terms of monetary value that I would gain. So the only difference is I obviously don't have to spend time doing 1.2 thousand cold calls. I spent 2 hours making this video, and it took me 13 minutes to record in one go without doing anything. So it's nuts. But let's say you're struggling with content ideas, because I know a lot of you guys are going to have that objection, or you're going to ask me at the end of this when we do our Q&A, like, what do I post? So let me just solve this once and for all. Here's how I basically get content ideas. So please take notes if you have a notepad out or Google document. What I need you to do is, ideally, after this ends, or maybe this week, you can do this little exercise that I have, but I need you to list out about 4 pain points in your niche. If you don't know the pain points in your niche, then just start reaching out to people in your niche, and you can offer them Starbucks gift cards, whatever you need to get a bit of knowledge about your niche. You can also ask ChatGPT what your niche struggles with in terms of 4 topics, and you want to do a bit of a tree branch like this, right? So let's say you're helping like coaches, right? Lead generation, one thing businesses are always going to need is more leads, like more people to sell to. Same with clients, same with time. People need more time, or reducing the time that they're spending on boring stuff. It really does depend on what you're trying to create content around. I do want to preference that, but you know what I mean, right? Most of you have an idea of who you want to help, and just you can list out 4 basic things that they struggle with. Now, here's where it gets interesting, right? So you're going to spend 20 minutes just doing this after this training, and you're going to write down the 4 biggest problems, like I just said. But let's dive a bit deeper. So, as I mentioned, you'd create a tree branch, like what I just said, and hopefully this is helping, guys. It's going to get a lot crazier in terms of value, but I'm just warming you guys up. You're then going to do sub-branches under each main point. Now, you may be thinking, what does that look like? Well, luckily, I've made another image for you, so I've spent a lot of time creating this. As I said, we had lead generation, client acquisition, time, offers, right? Let's just use those as pain points in the coaching space or whatever. You then want to go a layer deeper, but with 2 branches off that, if that makes sense. So, for example, let's say you're doing lead generation. It could be outbound lead generation, right? That could be one idea that branches off lead generation, right? Another could be inbound lead generation. And you can, by the way, go another branch below this, right? So for outbound lead generation, you can make a video on emails, right? And ideally, once again, as I said at the start, you need to do more cool shit, basically. I was going to say stuff, but I'm getting aggressive now. You need to do more shit, guys, because you haven't done anything. The more you do, the more you can speak about it. And yeah, people love experiences. You don't want to be that boring guy who's 80 years old that has no cool stories, right? Do 1,000 cold calls and record yourself doing it. Do emails. Do shit. But back to the point, right? You can go a branch below this as well. So it could be, as mentioned, emails or whatever you want to help your niche with. And then for inbound, maybe you can make a video on Facebook ads. But once again, you need to do this stuff before you make videos on it. But nonetheless, hopefully this is making sense. You branch down a layer deeper, ideally a few layers below. That's what I personally do. So you have probably 8 different subtopics. And then all we do is just rotate between them each week, right? It's that simple. And this is the first ideation process. There's another one which I'm going to explain, which is even more powerful, but this is the first one, right? It's very important. You do the four topics in terms of pain points in your niche. You then branch down 2 branches below that, right? And then you can go, a layer down, and then you just rotate. Now, that is for YouTube content. If you want to post onto Instagram stories or Facebook stories or YouTube community posts or whatever, you can still do the same topics. However, I once again recommend following a rotation process, right? So a rotation process for Instagram stories could be Monday motivation or Friday funnels, right? And you talk about these topics each day, right? And you just rotate between them, and it allows you to keep, your content ideas flowing. And you can have it in the back of your mind throughout the day. I never sit down and allocate an hour or two to thinking about content ideas, guys. I just have it in the back of my mind, it's Tuesday. The last video I made was, if we go back a second, the last video I made was on new AI offers. Cool, I'm now going to create one on some outbound lead generation, right? And then I just rotate between them to keep it fresh, right? Now, that is the first way. The other key way, which is even more valuable, right? And even easier than what I just mentioned for finding viral content ideas, which is my favorite, is competitors. You have to understand, guys, that you don't have to do the hard work anymore. Now, I know this narrative of hard work gets pushed around quite a lot, but I promise you, hard work will not make you successful. Now, am I saying that I want you to be lazy and go onto Netflix and do degenerate things? Absolutely not. I would rather you not fry your dopamine receptors, but you got to understand that business within itself, what makes someone who makes $50 million per year compared to you who can't even make 50,000 per year or 50,000 per month or 50,000 per week? The only difference is how they use their resources. Resources, right? You can write this down. You've got energy, time, and capital. They've just used their resources better than you. The universe is cause and effect, right? You do an action today, you get results in 6 months, right? They've just allocated their resources in terms of their time, energy, and capital, because they could spend money to allocate someone else's resources into that thing, but you get the point. They've just done different things to what you've done. Right, and YouTube's one of them, probably, from the people that you watch. I know you watch E-Man, and I know you watch some other gurus, but you get the point, right? They've just allocated their resources differently. So this means that they've done the hard work, right? They've done the heavy lifting for us. They've spent thousands and thousands per month on content researchers, marketing teams, consultants, right? And their channel shows what works and what doesn't work, right? So yeah, you can literally go to people who are literally helping your niche and see what videos have performed best on their channel. And it's by far the easiest thing you can do to blow up your channel and make a ton of money. By far. I promise you, I've tried every business model, I've tried every acquisition channel. This is the easiest way if you want to make money. Obviously, you could argue that calling business owners, it'd be significantly more painful than just putting a video out of a trending topic, but it could also work. But you get the point, right? I've done a lot of different shit, and I promise you, this is the move to be making. Now, one thing I want to preference: please just don't copy them. I see on YouTube all the time, people literally copy my titles word for word, right? Now that is never a good thing to do, because you're always going to be one step behind. You need to understand why that video has performed well on that other person's channel, right? You can have the same topic, but you need to kind of put your own twist on it. right? So let's say there was a video that did really well on a new like Facebook ads update, right? Put your own twist on it, right? Have a way of integrating AI into the video or something, or whatever your main offer is about. So that's what I really wanted to say, but that hopefully helps with ideation in terms of how to find content ideas. And what I would say is, I get this question a lot with like people saying, what do I do if I work with roofing companies or real estate, right? Or lawyers? I cannot tell you, right, how annoyed I get, because you look at the biggest agency owners in the world. You've got Sabri Subi, right, who's got the fastest growing marketing agency in Australia. Where does he allocate most of his resources, right? We all know where you allocate your resources is the reality you live in. It's YouTube, it's inbound, it's literally organic. He's a Shark Tank investor, right? Which is another great way of getting attention around him. But you guys just aren't making money because you have no attention around you. It's not rocket science, but you overcomplicate everything. No one knows who you are, so of course you're not going to make any money. But yeah, you look at Ryan Pineda, right? He helps real estate with, I think, becoming a local celebrity, you know, in terms of agents and real estate professionals. He posts on YouTube. All of these top, like, done-for-you agency who you want to be post on YouTube. And I'm not saying you have to completely give up outreach, right? I want you to continue doing your outreach. Just include maybe 2-3 YouTube videos per week. That's all I need you to do with the advice that I'm giving you right now. So yeah, you don't realize how lucky you are, because the market shifted massively. Now, raw is the new strategies, but what this means, and to explain why you are so goddamn lucky if you're in this call right now, is because beforehand, maybe a year, 2 years ago, you know, you actually had to edit videos to gather attention and spend money on YouTube videos, but now you don't, right? Everything is lining up perfectly for you in this call to make a ton of money. Everything is lining up, and hopefully you can see this. You've got the likes of Sam Sulek, who just doesn't edit, posts completely raw, gets millions and millions of views, you know, tens of millions of views every month, right? You've got, I don't know, whoever else you watch on YouTube, yeah, post raw content. It crushes. It's the best thing to do right now. But this means you don't have to spend money to actually enter the game, right? You can enter the game today with a raw video. It could even be you just documenting what you failed at so far. And it's a good thing to do. So yeah, this means less cost, more content, and much simpler. Obviously, this means more competition, but luckily, 99% of people aren't doing like what others are doing, right? So as I mentioned, the 1% that post onto YouTube, you've got the creators for a reason, which you should understand why people post on YouTube now. 99% of people are, let's say the 1%, right, that do post on YouTube. They obviously don't want you to post on YouTube because it increases competition. And right now, there's actually not that much competition on YouTube. I don't care what people say. Compared to like you doing other acquisition channels, it's like, it's really easy to make it work. If you have the right titles and you have the right topic, which I'll help you with as well, and you should have gathered some value on that from the last 10 minutes. But yeah, it's super easy nowadays, and you've got all the advantages in your favor. So I recommend posting on YouTube 3 times a week. And yeah, I recommend you record via Loom, keep it easy. There's a software called Screen Studio. You can write that down if you want. It is slightly better than Loom. It costs a bit of money. So I would start with Loom, get your first 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, and then you can just invest more into the quality. I have a Logitech Brio 4K webcam. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have a Rode mic. Obviously, you can actually get really cheap mics on Amazon for like $20. I recommend getting a ring light for $20. I think a ring light on Amazon for $20 and a microphone for $20 is all you really need to get started, as long as you have a decent webcam. But even that doesn't really matter. Audio is way more important than visual. It's like you can watch a video and the visual can be not the best, but if the audio is bad, it completely ruins your video, right? You know when you listen to like audio and it's like shit and it's like crackling in your ear, that is like unmanageable. You can't watch that. However, if the visual is bad, but at least there's a good, audio, it's fine. You can handle it. So that's what I recommend doing. You can do that if you want. And let's say you're scared of messing up on YouTube, right? Let's say you're scared of putting yourself out there and you stumble, you stutter. I know a lot of people ask me that question. How do you stop like stuttering? How can you speak fluently for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever it may be, right? And I want you to imagine you're just walking your friend through it. Now, the first thing I would say is, even me, I've posted 250 videos on my channel, long form. I find it hard to speak to the camera directly without having a presentation or an automation or something that I'm showing on the screen. I recommend all beginners to record on Loom and show something and walk your audience or your viewers through it instead of just like speaking directly to the camera. Even for me, that's quite hard to do because you have to remember like 10 minutes worth of what you're going to speak about, and it's very easy to ramble. Obviously, if you just be relaxed, you could probably do it. But you know what I mean, right? Recording on Loom, walking them through the ads manager or your content strategy on a whiteboard. You can look into Miro or Lucid charts. I use that for visual diagrams. That is the ideal situation, is you just get started doing that. And imagine you're walking a friend through it. But why is unedited content so good? So as I mentioned, raw is the new meta, right? It's the ultimate strategy to be doing, but why is it so good? And it's simply because it attracts people who don't have an attention span of a goldfish. And you may be wondering, I mean, maybe you're not wondering this. I don't actually know if you probably aren't wondering this, but to put it into perspective, right? The majority of the people that have made my net worth is actually people above the age of like 40, right? It's not like kids. I don't want kids watching I don't want anyone like watching. Obviously, if you're younger than 18 in this call, I apologize. You're doing great. It's amazing to get started as an entrepreneur, but you know what I mean, right? I'm not wanting kids to watch my channel. I'm wanting business owners who have a lot of money, who are willing to spend it to watch my videos. Which means that the raw style actually attracts older people, which is better for you, right? Very important. Now, you can have an intro, right? I occasionally have intros, which are 30 seconds and it hypes up the video, which I'll get to in a second. You can do that if you want, but it's not necessary. But now, let's get into the most important part of the training. I'm just gonna have a sip of water for 2 seconds. But this is by far the best part. Right? So hopefully you've gathered value so far. Hopefully you haven't just been on your phone doom scrolling TikTok or Instagram Reels, watching some motivational content to hype you up for posting a YouTube video. But let's actually dive into the most important part, right? This is the part of the training that you'd have to be dumb to, I don't know, go to the toilet right now or something. But let me get into my formula for printing views and clients. And this can change your life. If you found this valuable so far, right, this can change your life. So there's only 2 metrics you need to understand to get views on YouTube. There's only 2 things you need to understand. 2 things. Please take notes on this. Please, I beg. So watch time, right? So how long people watch your content for, right? That's the first thing. And then click-through rate. Those are fundamentally the only 2 things you need to get good at. And I'm gonna explain right now my forbidden formula for getting good at these 2 things. These are the only 2 things you need to understand on how to get views through even Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, just content in general, these 2 things. So why is watch time one of the most important metrics for getting views? As I mentioned, watch time and then click-through rate. Click-through rate is just the percentage of people that click on your video. Right? Because how YouTube works is when you post a video, your video gets put onto the homepage with 20 other videos side by side. So it's the percentage of people that view the homepage and then click on your video. Typically a 5% to 7%, plus 7% if you're really good is average. So watch time is how long people watch your videos. But why is this so important? And it's because companies like YouTube, Google, and Meta, Google owns YouTube if you didn't know, but Google and Meta spend billions of dollars per year on psychology. I need you to understand this, right? Even TikTok, they spend billions, 9 figures, definitely 9 figures, maybe not 10 billions, but definitely hundreds of millions of dollars per year on psychologists who literally, their one goal is to keep you on their platform. I'm going to give you a statistic right now that's going to blow your mind. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the statistic that's going to blow your mind? So every time you go on YouTube, the average time you'll spend on that YouTube tab, right, watching videos, is about 45 minutes to an hour. So you simply put Y on the keyboard and it probably preloads YouTube. You click enter, you're likely to spend an hour on YouTube. Now, why is that? Well, they've gotten so good at hooking you in and keeping you on the platform, right, that they can just make money through advertising because you are the dollars, right? You are allowing those companies to make money off you being a consumer. Now, I want you to be a producer, not a consumer, because you can finally start making money. But their main goal is to keep you on the platform. Same with TikTok, and that's why it's becoming harder and harder to actually have good dopamine receptors now, because these companies are literally paying billions to learn all the psychology tricks on how they can literally keep you on their platform. But what does this mean? Well, this means that you actually they make more revenue from you watching ads and creators, obviously. But what this means is that YouTube rewards, and same with TikTok, same with Instagram, creators who can keep viewers watching the video. So if I post a video and you watch a minute and click off, YouTube will not push my video to the algo, meaning it's not going to push my video onto the homepage where more people are going to see it, right? However, if I can get people to watch 5 minutes on average, 7 minutes, it's going to push it to the algorithm hard. And I'm going to get a lot of views. And that's how I've gotten hundreds of thousands of views on multiple videos of mine, right? Very important. So you may be thinking though, how can you actually increase the watch time? It's all good me saying you need to increase watch time, you need to get people to watch to the end of the video. Well, it's going to be following the 3 Ps, right? The 3 Ps is the forbidden formula for, getting your video to get pushed hard. So promise, proof, and then plan, right? So promise, what you need to do is you need to confirm, right? I can ask you the question, can you confirm in 5 seconds of the video that the viewer is getting what they clicked for, right? It's why you'll see Mr. Beast, if you ever watched a Mr. Beast video, and let's say he has a Lamborghini in the thumbnail and, I don't know, the title is something about a Lamborghini, he will have the Lamborghini in the first 5 seconds of the video to confirm that the viewer is getting what they clicked for, right? It's a bit like when you order something from a restaurant and, it's a lot worse than you expected. It's not going to go down too well, right? You're probably, I'm too scared to complain at restaurants. I don't know about you two guys, but you know what I mean. That was just an analogy. You need to confirm that the viewer is getting what they clicked for in the first 5 seconds. So let's say I make a video on how to save 10 hours per week by using this automation, right? I would start the video with here's the automation that's going to save you, you know what I mean, right? Save you 10 hours, right? You need to confirm it, right? That's promise. That's the first P for increasing watch time. The second P, proof. Who are you and why are you teaching this? This is the next 10 seconds of the video. So the first 5 seconds is the promise, right? Confirming that the viewer is getting what they click for. The second P, which is the next 10 seconds, so this will be 15 seconds so far, is who you are and why you're teaching this. It's why you'll see Alex Hormozi starts every video with, hey, my name's Hormozi, or Alex, I sold Gym Launch for $46.2 million, or another person saying who they are. Now, if you don't have the proof, then you need to do more cool shit, as I've said about 10 times, right? And as I mentioned, you just need to make your videos less markety, if that's a word. So yeah, make it about what you've actually done, and then have that in the first 15 seconds. My name's Charlie, and I've sent 10,000 cold DMs, and here are the results, right? You need to confirm that as well. So plan, right? So you've got 5 seconds, which is the promise. Next 10 seconds is going to be proof, who you are, what you do. And then the next, let's say 10 seconds to have a 30-second intro is going to be the plan, So can you condense what you're going to explain in the video into a simple framework with a freebie at the end, ideally? So once again, let's say I'm making a video about how to run Facebook ads. I would start the video with the promise. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to start and set up your ads manager to build your first profitable campaign in whatever, right? My name's Charlie. You get the point, right? I would give what I'm explaining you to do, and then I would say I'm going to condense it down into 3 simple steps where we set up the ads manager, we create your campaign, and then we launch in 10 minutes. That would be an ideal, somewhat intro. Obviously, I would make it a lot smoother, maybe have some captions or whatever, but you get the point, right? And that is going to allow you to increase watch time, just because humans like simple things. And this is something you can utilize in your outreach, right? There's a cognitive bias. Maybe pop in the chat if you know what a cognitive bias is. If you don't, then I'll explain quickly. Pop in the chat if you're still awake, or maybe you've fallen asleep. Hopefully not. Just pop in the chat quickly, someone. A cognitive bias. Explain. Okay, so a cognitive bias is a systematic error that humans make when making decisions. It could be your prospect buying something. It could be your prospect booking an appointment. It's an error that happens in their brain, in their psyche, that makes them do something. Now, there's this cognitive bias called the processing fluency bias. And it basically means that humans like simple frameworks. So if you can condense your video into a simple framework, like what I just mentioned, into 3 steps, 4 steps, and you have that at the start of the video, in your outreach, if you have a 4-step AI growth funnel, that's amazing. You need to make it simple, right? Another cognitive bias would be like the price anchor bias, right? Where you price drop, or, social proof. It's just things that you need to understand. But anyway, give them a reason to stick to the end. Give them something at the end of your video that makes them stay to the end, and that will obviously increase watch time, thus moving you into more of the algorithm, into people's attention. So follow these 3 Ps, and I promise you'll get a plus 4-minute average watch time, which is not bad, right? It's okay. But now the other important metric, CTR, stick with me. There's only a little bit left, but it's going to get a bit more valuable. So CTR, right? How can we increase click-through rate? Which, as I mentioned, your video gets put onto the home screen of YouTube where there's 20 other videos. So how can you be the person that gets other people to click on your video, not the 19 other videos around them, right? So there's only so much your title and thumbnail can do. The more important thing is the actual topic you make your video about. So nobody will click if you make a video about something irrelevant. If you make a video about how your dog eats a certain type of food, or something that just isn't relevant, then no one's going to click, no matter how good you make the title, right? Right? It doesn't matter. So yeah, you have to make your video about something relevant. Even if you have the best optimized title and thumbnail, you find trending topics by leveraging competitors. As mentioned at the start, not the start, but like halfway through this training, I talked about competitors have done the hard work for you. You just need to put your own twist on it. And that's way more important, because you can have a mediocre title thumbnail, but if you have a good topic, you can go viral, right? And as mentioned, now more than ever, you are extremely lucky because you can post raw videos, unedited videos, and go viral just by having a good topic and good watch time, which I've shown you how to get in this training.